It's Tony Robbins. Welcome to another session in Money Masters, or as I said, the $1 million masters of marketing. Because if you're going to make money in any business, you got to master marketing. What other area of your life or your business can you invest such a small amount of money in and get such a multiplied return? Sure can't do it in the stock market, but in your own business you can. So I don't know if you're a person that's watching and you've subscribed here to learn from these Money Masters because you already own a business and you want to take things to a whole nother level. That's true. You're going to learn some incredible tools today. Or maybe you're somebody that, you're dealing with some of the new future you want to create. It's a brand new economy out there. Maybe you've been outsourced, displaced, or you're doing great, but you want some other options. You want to create a lifestyle with some different freedom. If you like lifestyle, you're going to like Frank Kern. He's going to be our focus for today. He's a gentleman that personally has helped me a lot. I got 12 different companies, and marketing has been a piece that, frankly, I never really focused on as my primary goal. I built a really strong set of brands, but I had a mission. My mission's like, I want to reach as many people as possible. So I learned a little bit about marketing and took advantage of a wave of marketing in a variety of ways, including infomercials. But boy, the technology today allows you to do things that could never be done before, cheaper, faster, easier, and the ultimate outcome is being able to add more value to your clients or your customers than you ever could have before, and to do it really effectively. And the man I'm going to share with you, by the way, what are his qualifications? Well, how do I try this on for size? Here's a guy that's made and built businesses and sold them in the marketing area, but he's probably got one of the largest records, if not the record, that I know of at least in the industry, and that is on the web. Through his marketing strategies, one company applied his tools and made $18 million in 24 hours. That's correct. Not 1.8, not 180,000, 18 million. So I think we should just get to it and meet the historic Frank Kern.
That was awesome. Wow, man.
Good to be with you, Frank.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Well, you know how much I appreciate you personally. You're just fun to be with. You're a blast to be with, and you're brilliant. I want people to get a sense of things. So why don't we start out? And this was an industry that if you were a damn good marketer 10 years ago, maybe you make $100,000. Now you and an elite group of maybe half dozen or dozen guys and ladies out there, some of them are doing 8 figures, some of them are doing 8 figures in your case in an hour.
Right.
So tell us the story. I like to start out by people seeing where things are. First of all, you get to be cool and relaxed. You got your own unique style. People love your humor, but where did this all start? I know it started for you back, I think, in 99 or so. Where were you back then, and how did it get started? And also I want to hear, I know you went to one of my programs at one point early on, too.
I did, yeah.
So how did it start?
Okay, well, I first got introduced to your stuff. So many of my friends, we all have been, introduced to your stuff, and everyone saw the infomercial. Right. I saw the infomercial, didn't have the money, so I had to hit my stepdad up for the tapes. So I've always been entrepreneurial and had effortlessly ran many businesses into the ground. And I was in the middle of doing that when I borrowed some of your Personal Power 2 tapes from my stepfather and listened to them, and I was in one room of a single wide trailer that was a used car lot, and that was my office, and I was running a dog fencing business.
This sounds like a story made up, but it's the truth, isn't it?
And then, that was before I became part of Massive.
That's right, I got it.
So I'm in the back room of the single wide trailer, and the rest of the business is used cars, and I'm like subletting one room of the single wide used car lot to run this dog fencing business, with the little shot collars for the dogs and stuff.
Are you telling me the truth? Is this a real story?
Yeah,
because you put me on so damn well. This is a true story.
This really happened. So I was running that business into the ground, which, again, it's a lot easier than it would appear. And so I'm listening to your stuff, and I get it. And I tell you, the thing that I got most from listening to your programs, I've listened to all of them, really. And Personal Power, it was that sense of positive expectancy. It was like, I can really do something. I don't have to just be this idiot in the back room of the single wide trailer thing. I said, I can really go out and do everything I want, because you have all these stories of so many people that just once they applied their minds, they could do anything. So I found that really inspiring. So I ran that business completely into the ground, and
completed the process.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a quitter, So I started another one, and I was a door-to-door credit card machine salesman. So I lived in Macon, Georgia at the time. If any of you guys have been to Macon, Georgia, it's almost always hot, especially in the summer. It's just ridiculous. And back then, I looked like a kid, because I was probably 20-something, 26, 27 years old. And so I thought the only way for businesses to take me seriously is I'm going to put on this black suit. So I go down to Macy's or whatever and get the off-the-rack black wool suit, and I'm going door to door in Macon, Georgia, where I'm probably the only guy in the entire city wearing a black suit, going door to door, beating on businesses' doors, trying to sell them credit card machines. So here comes this dude, this sweaty, miserable guy in a black suit trying to sell you a credit card machine. So strangely, they didn't really want to buy that many credit card machines. Yeah, I don't know. They were weird. You know, some people don't understand. So I was like, you know, this is awful. And I knew that I wanted to sell stuff, you know. And so to me, it was like, well, I can only make so many in-person sales pitches per day, and these sales pitches really aren't going that well because people just don't appreciate, you know, my dress code here. Yes. So I discovered, you know, quote unquote, the internet. And the whole turning point happened when I saw an ad for a guy named Corey Rudel, who has since died, unfortunately, had a course that said, you know, you can make money on the internet, you know, and I'm sure everyone's seen this, maybe not that specific ad, but that you can make money doing X, Y, Z ads. Sure. And the first thing that happens is you say, you know, this is bullshit. So I got it anyways, $297, and I read it.
Why did you do it anyways, even though you're skeptical?
Well, my alternative was like worse than losing the $200.
Okay, that's great.
You know what I mean? It was like, okay,
I
could keep wearing the black suit and going door to door, having people, you know, reject me and slam the door in my face, or I could try something else. So sure. I bought this person's course, and I applied to like one page of the 300 pages of stuff that he gave me, and as a result struggled. And then just really through trial and error, sort of figured it out, you know, and figured out how to sell things online.
Now, is it true that this thing started with you seeing somebody that was offline selling something on how to teach your parrot how to talk?
That's when it all really came together for me, yeah.
Okay, you got to tell us the story.
Okay, there's a guy who's a famous person in my world, the direct response world, named Jeff Paul. And I bought some of his seminars on tape, you know, and this is, I don't even think I think if you bought them on CD, they were extra. You know, it was like that long ago. It was like, okay, I'll get them on tape, you know. So I get them on tape, and I'm listening to this guy's tape, and he's got someone in the audience, and the guy in the audience is saying, yeah, man, you know, I'm doing really well. I'm publishing these print ads about parrots, and I'm selling this $300 manual on how to get your parrot to talk. And I was like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So naturally, I said, well, that's exactly what I should be doing. But I'm going to apply it to the internet. So my logic was, you know, the process these people are going through with the magazine system was, well, you know, someone's reading a magazine that's specific to the parrots in this case. Right. They see the parrot ad, they call the number or whatever, and they buy the stuff, you know. Well, the internet's just like that in many regards. So it's almost like a big giant classified section of the newspaper. Sure. In some respects, in other respects not, but for the business aspect of it, it is. So I determined, well, you know, if people are out there and they're reading like magazines about parrots, and then they're going through all this trouble to write the check and mail it in and pay $300, I figured, well, I could just advertise online and sell a downloadable parrot course and probably make some money without having to really do anything. So I did, and it worked. You know, I couldn't believe it. There's a little tool out there, and I went to it. It was Yahoo.com's tool now. Now Google has a similar tool, but you can type in a word, and it'll show you how many people are searching for that word per month. So I typed it in there, and I typed parrot, you know, and there were like 70,000 people a month searching for the word parrot. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of starting to make sense, you know, because if somebody has a parrot, they want the thing to talk, or some of them will. So I said, if I just stick my parrot book in front of these 70,000 people, I'm sure to sell a couple of them.
Here's what I love. You didn't have a parrot book.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And are you a writer?
No.
So what did you do? You just hired somebody to write a parrot book?
I did, yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I just, there was a website called Elance, which I don't use now I write all my own stuff now, but if it's something I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll get someone else to do it. You know?
Sure.
And the Elance, I just went up there and I said, listen, I need someone to write a book on how to teach your parrot to talk. And the way I did it was I wrote the ad for the book, and I made all these promises in the ad, and I said, I want you to read this ad and fulfill as many of these promises as possible in the book, and then tell me the ones that are impossible so I can get rid of them.
Right.
You know, and they said, okay, we'll do it. And the person was a contributing editor to one of the Bird magazines. It was like a real person.
Wow.
I put it together and started selling it, and it did good. I think the best month was like $3,500. Right. You know, but I said, you know, that approach was a lot less intimidating to me than the concept of building a giant business. It was like, okay, you know, that was kind of easy. Right. Finding this little market and having a product made, knowing what they wanted, having a little product made, said, you know, here you go, you can.
And you kind of got in front of a trend that was already, you know, a train that was already going down the track instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak.
Yeah,
right?
I have no interest in trying to do anything that's remotely difficult.
But here's what I thought was amazing, and I'm curious in terms of a background, if I can get into your psyche for a second at a real simple level. So many people have an opportunity sitting in front of them. You've made that offer to people. You know, there's opportunities all over the world for people, and they don't act on it. Mm-hmm. I understand, you know, here you have this opportunity. You could have said, well, I don't have a book. This parrot thing is stupid. You know, whatever the case would be. You not only did that, but you also then realized, even if I'm only making $3,500, what if I had 40 of these sites.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
You know, or am I right in the direction?
Yeah.
I'm curious, what did that turn into? Because then you start thinking $80,000 a month or 60 or 50 or, you know, instead of 3,500 when you do those types of things. And what influenced you? What made you, you know, be willing to scale your thinking like that? I know you have a grandfather that has a big impact on your life in terms of business person. I'm just somebody at home. I want them to get strategies today, but I also want them to kind of question anything that would stop them. And what's the difference in your thinking that made you follow through and scale things?
Well, first of all, I just have this underlying belief that you can do anything. Like anything is possible.
Right.
I mean, if that hasn't been proven repeatedly throughout history, then you're not paying attention.
Right.
You know, I mean, we got people go to the moon, for God's sake. I mean, so surely I can make a couple more ebooks. You know what I mean? And it's the ease of use. So it's, you know, to be fair, I don't know if I would have gone through all of that, if I would have had to write the book myself and research it myself and, you know, spend the money and place ads in magazines, and if it took a lot of time.
Right.
But due to the nature of the internet, you can literally have a project like that, the beginnings of a project like that, like tomorrow. You know, you can test traffic, you can have ads up, and you can do it really inexpensively. You know, as in like for $20 or something, you can like start seeing something if people are interested or whatever. So the barrier of entry was very low. And the second aspect of that is I wanted to have a lot of money. Having a lot of money is great, and I think I know that I deserve to have a lot of money and that it's easily attainable, so why wouldn't I?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why wouldn't anyone do that? We live in my opinion, I know there's all this talk about the economy and stuff, which is it's true to a degree, but on the flip side of that, I think we live in the most prosperous time in the history of our civilization. You know, I mean, it's not... Obviously, it's going to get any better, or it's going to get better than this, but it never has been this good.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's effortless. You know, you and I can like send a promotion to people in China right now for $0. You know, and it's like, how could we not take advantage of this? And all barriers have been completely removed. You know, and if you don't have the technological ability, you can hire it out. You know, it cost me $650 to have that book written. That's it. And so I didn't have to talk to anybody. I didn't have to, you know, risk like looking dumb or whatever and being like, oh, you know, can you write this book for me? And they go, we won't. You know, I just posted a little job on this website, and people clamored to get the job for me.
Wow.
And that is even more, you know, present today than it ever has been.
So the biggest difference between marketing in the 20th century, as corny as it sounds, and the 21st century is what? What would you say has changed?
Well, that's a big question. So I'll start on the easiest level. What's really changed is ease and speed.
Right.
You know, you can, not that this is really the right thing to do, and we'll get to that in a minute, but you can emulate the presence of a giant corporation like tomorrow without any real difficulty.
Or risks, or very limited risks anyway.
Very limited risks. You know, you can be global like right now. You know, I mean, you put up a website and it's there. You know, I mean, 80 gazillion people, that's a real number, I looked that up. Yeah, they use Google every day and all the search engines. You can buy an ad under your type of business right now. So if a guy searches, you know, custom painted tennis shoes and you're in that business and you want to be the global leader, you can give Google some money, and tomorrow they're going to see your company right there, every single, and that's never happened up until now. You know, and another aspect of it is the speed at which you get results. So we can send a marketing message out there to a customer base, or stick an ad in front of a group of people, and we can get response instantly, like within an hour. You know, to say this, we need to change this, or this is hot, we need to keep going on that. We've never had that ability ever.
Right. And now that's also very disruptive to the powers that be, so to speak, because somebody brand new can come in and take market share, you know, shift things very rapidly. They don't have all the infrastructure, they don't have the weight. And you look at so many businesses today that are trying to figure out how to retool because they were built in a different time, and the time has changed so radically now. What's the price of a business that doesn't learn some of these guerrilla approaches today in your mind?
Oh, an existing, they're doomed. You know, and here's why. They have succeeded in spite of basic human nature. Okay, so I believe that as people, we like to do business with people that we know, like, and trust. As a matter of fact, I believe there are 3 reasons people don't buy. They either don't want it, they don't have the money, or they don't believe you, which is going to be trust, right? So, you know, assuming they want it and have the money, and incidentally, I believe that the not having the money thing is just they don't want it badly enough. But assuming those are gone, if you don't have the trust there, you don't have the business. And now more than ever, and I think it's always been somewhat a degree true, but now more than ever, the big entity, the faceless, nameless corporation
is now trusted the least.
Is not even remote, is feared. You know, so to continue on down that path is just beating your head against a brick wall. It's crazy. And the future and the now is people doing business with people. You know,
so companies are moving from the faceless entity to
Absolutely.
really developing an intimate relationship with their clients, not having customers, really making them clients, really making them friends.
Exactly. Friends is key, you know, and it requires a shift in the thinking of business, I think, to view their customers as their friends and to genuinely care.
Right.
You know, the image I get of old school business is a bunch of guys in suits drinking scotch in a boardroom, laughing and smoking.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's gone. I mean,
Right.
you're not going to survive.
Yeah. What's the new image?
A bunch of guys having fun, and you know, or a bunch of people having fun, you know, a small little tightly knit guerrilla group, and their customers enjoying them. You know, an open door, transparent sort of business.
And the world's becoming so transparent today. I mean, you see that in every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
Maybe the exception of politics, but even that's getting penetrated.
we're on to you guys.
Yeah.
I think,
Starting to get penetrated, though, with blogs and, you know, everybody being able to participate in the conversation. So marketing today, if you're going to define marketing today, what is marketing?
Well, that's another one of those really, really big questions. So I think my gut reaction is stuff you do to get money, you know. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that answer actually because I like it. That's my own internal definition.
And with you were saying your philosophy of marketing, you know, be cool to people, and I mean, it's, you know, I literally.
Well, yeah. So here's my methodology behind
me.
marketing: is I like to give the best that I can, and help people out. And by doing so, and be very, you know, genuine with them, and by doing so, I create a situation where they ask me to sell them stuff. And see, a traditional person would say, well, that's ridiculous. You need to go out there, you know, you need to get them. Of course, you should be aggressive in your prospecting and stuff. But I think if you provide enough value, then people will say, man, how can I get more of this?
Right.
And I have a theory on it, and really a system for doing it that I'll share with you if you like. I call it the results in advance system. And I learned this working with someone in the seduction market, which in and of itself is very funny because that's really, you know, my wife is here now. She's like, it's not. That is not his strong point. You know, but I have a friend who's an author, and he wrote a best-selling book about seduction and dating. More accurately, we'll say dating, so it doesn't sound weird because it really is dating. You know, so I said, you know, you should release this product that really helps people out, helps men out, and helps them, you know, attract the woman of their dreams and everything. And the challenge was, there's so many people in that space. I know it's an obscure market, but that's great because it shows this stuff can work for anybody, right? Right. There's so many people in that space, and there's not a lot of trust there.
Right.
So the strategy was, if we could take the market and we could give them little results in advance incrementally, what would happen is that each time we delivered a little bit of results in advance, their trust in us, and by us I mean him really, because I was the silent guy behind the curtain, you know, their trust would grow and their desire for the product would grow, and it would grow exponentially with every little bit you incrementally provide a result. So here's the way I like to imagine it, is those of us at home. You take a pen and a piece of paper. On this side, you draw a little guy, you know, and then you have like a timeline. You divide the timeline in 4 or 5 little units, and then you draw the end result here. So in the case of the dating person, I drew a guy, and then, you know, there's like a couple at the end. Right. And so, and then in your little lines that you're drawing, you have like each step that it would take to get to that end result. Right. So in this example, the first step was just to approach a woman, right? Yes. So I said, what we should do is we should give these people for free without being, you know, weird or anything, to say, hey, listen, we understand that it's scary to go out and approach a complete stranger. The rejection stuff is there. Here's some ways that you can overcome that. And here's some ways that you can approach someone without looking like a wacko or an idiot. And we said, do with this what you will. So what happens is the person who gets that information says, you know, that's awesome. They go do it, and they get results. Right. So now their next question is going to be, what do I do now? Right. You know, so
I've approached her now.
Yeah,
the door's open.
So now you're not going to them saying, now you need to listen to me more. Right. They're coming to you saying, thank you. First of all, I owe you one. That's great. Now what do I do? So we've just moved that person from this side of the timeline one step closer. Got it. So the trust is here, desire is here. Right. Next step is, well, you know, we understand that a lot of folks had great luck with this approach thing. Good job. It's not as scary as it seemed. They wanted to talk to you too, didn't they? Isn't that great? You know. Yeah. So here are some conversation starters that you can have without, you know, looking dumb, and so you can be cool. Give them that. They have the conversation. Their next thing is, how do I get the phone number? Next thing is, how do I ask her out on a date? Right. Next thing is, you know, what do we talk about? And all that. So you deliver those little chunks, and by the time you're ready to sell them something, there is no selling them something. They're saying, would you please just give me all the stuff now? I'm sold. You know.
Don't drag it out on me anymore either. You know, I need the whole solution. Wow, that's fantastic.
So now you're no longer a salesman.
Right.
You know, you're one friend helping another friend, or in this case, thanks to the internet, a very large group of people. And you not only gain a lot of customers, but you gain like these raving fan type customers, you know, who really like you, who like want you. They're like, oh, well, what are you going to sell us now? You know,
you're a mentor. You can be a mentor to millions, where it's very hard to mentor more than one-on-one in most cases, unless you have just tremendous skills from the front of the room. And even then, you have to get everybody into a room.
Right.
You know, here you don't. The room is wherever they live, wherever they are, 24/7, any place in the world. So, come back one step for me. When you made your success in the parrot business, teaching parrot to talk, blows my mind. You looked at that and you said, okay, maybe that business at $3,500 is a nice business, but if I want to do better, I understood that one of the things you did is you started saying, how do I get, you know, how many different kinds of pets are there? You began to expand. Tell me a little bit about what went next, because I know you built that into a business you sold.
Yeah, that was a good one. So I started doing it with dogs, you know, and dating back to when I had the dog fencing business. Yeah, getting dogs to talk. And, you know, it's only weird when you start talking back, you know. So yeah, I was, you know, having been in the pet industry, and by being in the pet industry, I mean just unsuccessfully trying to sell pet containment systems. I'd worked with hundreds of dogs, literally, and I learned that dogs respond really well to positive reinforcement. So the way I was trained to train the dogs was, you say, listen, man, you don't go near this wire because you're going to get shocked. And then they get shocked and they freak out. And what I learned is that if you just like, instead of taking that approach, if you say, hey, isn't it awesome in here away from that wire, let's just hang out in here, they respond really well to that and they're not afraid. You know, and I know that's kind of a weird way to put it, but that was the experience. So I read some stuff on dog training and I created a course about dog training, and it's all about the positive reinforcement aspects of dogs and why dogs do certain things, you know. Really basic stuff, but stuff that people just don't think about, you know, unless they've like been in the pet containment business.
Did you ever read the book, Don't Shoot the Dog?
No.
Oh, you'd love that book. It's all about positive reinforcement. Please continue.
Okay, so I said, you know, there's really, and again, I knew this from the perspective of having worked with so many dogs, there's not really any physiological difference and not a significant psychological difference between a Great Dane and a poodle when it comes to basic obedience training. When it comes to, you know, the dog is jumping on you because he wants your attention. That's so when you say down boy and you push him, you're just giving him attention and he's going to jump on you more. Both dogs are going to react the same. So I said, you know, this course is really a one-size-fits-all course. So I developed a system where I could automatically create a different website for every breed of dog, of which there's 600-something breeds of dogs, and then get it all over the entire internet like that at one time. You know, so I just pressed a button, it was made. I placed the ads for every single breed of dog, and the next thing I know is, you know, it was $1 million a year business. And that went from, I think I started that business in 2004, and it did its first million in 2005. Wow. I think it's 2000. Not that anyone really cares. 2005 or 2006. I get the years confused.
Just don't do that when you get married. It's
okay.
But tell me seriously, you sold that business though.
I did.
Yeah, and so you kept it for a couple of years, and then sold, and were you able to sell it for a multiple of? Without telling me the numbers, were you able to sell it for a multiple?
It was a very favorable exchange for both parties.
That's good. That's good. You know. Well, the beauty is, the reason I bring it up is I think a lot of people, when they think about doing business on the internet, they don't think of a sustainable business. They think it's something very often they're just starting over. But you know, you're really looking at how to create income for life in many cases. It's a different mindset. So maybe address that for us if you would.
Well, the reason I started online was first of all, there was that pain of going door to door and selling, and what happened was, it's interesting how things come full circle. You know, what happened is I developed this belief that dealing with people is horrible. And I was like, I don't want to deal with anybody. People suck, because I'm getting, you know, people are telling me to, you know, get out of here all day. So I create this system, you know, through what I told you about, these little downloadable information products, nothing fancy, and I create this automatic income stream where I literally have nothing to do. So I'm just sitting around, and money's, and it's great. Now people watching will be like, okay, shut up, we hate you. But really, you know, it's like I would go to work and I would just sit in my office. I'd be like, well, I should be doing something, you know. So I would, you know, sometimes I would interact with other people who were in the internet marketing space, and I'd start giving them tips, and I'd like really enjoy it, and I would look forward to the phone calls, and I figured, you know, I should be teaching this stuff because I really like it, and I do it anyway for free. So that's why I got rid of the dog business and then started teaching it full time. So it can provide you with, definitely can provide you with income for life for doing literally nothing, but it gets boring, is what I'm telling you. It's real, first of all, and it will get boring. So you might as well do what you love first.
It's true.
Yeah.
If you don't do what you love, you're going to be miserable no matter what. I've met so many people over the years, and I was at one stage in my life, I had the privilege as well, where you don't have to work. And what happens is people are happy usually 30, 60, 90 days. I mean, 4 months at the outside.
And you start getting a little
they're always calling the other friends and going, hey, want to go do this? And like, no, I got to do this, I got to do that. And we have to be employed. The problem is, you want to make enough money, you don't have to work.
Right.
Right? That's different to not have to work than to not work. If you don't work, there's no sense of fulfillment. And maybe not work in financial sense. Some people do it in a nonprofit sense, but it's something you're passionate about. So what was it like when you were able to tell your wife, you don't have to work anymore?
That was a big one. And it was my grandfather. So when we started dating, he says, what does she do for a living? And she was a graphic artist. And I said, well, she's a graphic artist. And he goes, I would be embarrassed if my girl had to work. And I was like, gosh, everything my grandfather said was gospel.
Been your role model, hasn't he?
Absolutely. So I was like, well, okay, she shouldn't. Now, not that she should not work.
Sure.
That she shouldn't have
to work, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was a major moving toward thing for me. It's like, I really want to make it so my wife doesn't have to work. And we both were very happy with her not having to work.
At least.
Yeah.
Was it something that you believed would ever happen before that?
Yeah, I've always, and largely in part, thanks to the stuff that I learned from you earlier on, I believe you can do anything you want to.
Right.
Which is why I'm so adamantly looking at the people who are watching this saying, listen, I promise you can do this, because I understand it's probably a little bit strange for people who don't know me saying, okay, there's this long-haired, very laid-back dude talking about making millions of dollars, not doing anything, and having it become like kind of a hassle. Yeah. So you really, when I tell you can do whatever you want to do, like you really can, as surprised as you may be, like I was, it happens, so you might as well go for it.
Well, one of the, it's part of your style and part of what's true. I mean, you get to see you get to surf, you love your little daughters, you get to be with your lady, you've got this quality of life, and so many people get into business. You ask them, why'd you get into business? And they say, for freedom, so I have more free time. And it's, for most people, when they start a business, I don't care what the business in the beginning, saying you're starting a business to have more free time is like saying, I'm going to have a baby so I can have more free time.
Sure, okay.
But in this business, what's different is how many employees, without revealing the tens of millions you do, maybe we'll talk about the 18 million an hour, talk about what you've created, but how many employees do you have?
Well, I'll tell you our figures because, I got nothing to hide here.
Great.
I have nothing to hide, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Last year, our total sales were $6.7 million.
Okay.
And at that time, I had 2 ladies that worked for me, and they still do, and I have a video guy. So 3. I have 3 employees, and we brought on a bookkeeper. We used to outsource that, and we have a bookkeeper in-house now. So
it'd be fair to say your margin is probably larger than the 15 or 20 or 30% that most people
I go for an 8, if not 100%, I'll go for an 8 times multiple at the very least.
Wow.
So if the product costs $50, I'll charge $400 at the very least.
Right.
Personally, I like to charge lots of money for my stuff because you can get it if you just ask for it, and you don't have to sell as much stuff. Very profound. I know.
And yet, you could sound like you're figuring out how to jack it up, but the truth of the matter is the things that you sell give people the power to earn even more, multiple times that level. Yeah. And you start out by, talk a little bit about, I don't know if you were the first person to use this language, moving the free line a little bit, if you would. I know you've addressed it a little bit, but maybe touch base on that, and then maybe lead us up to a little bit about this whole idea of mass control, because you're really known, at least to those of us on the outside, and now a little bit on the inside as I've gotten to be friendly with you and get to know some of your friends, for kind of the underachievers, method. How do you do a lot, add a lot of value, make a lot of money with a little effort, a little bit of time, and just a different style. You don't have to hype it. Right. And you're also really known for the mass control model that businesses use and individuals use. So maybe tell us a little about the free line and tell us a little bit about your philosophy of how you build that energy, that makes people ask you to buy and want to buy from you. Because I think you're the only guy I know that has people that wait online for the moment in which they can buy a product, like lining up wherever they are in the world so they can purchase that thing before it goes off, so they don't have to wait another 6 months or 9 mons. I mean, I don't know anybody else that does that besides you, Frank. So
maybe
lots of
they
people
have more
try to
sense to
emulate
just just let people keep buying stuff. Who knows? I probably could have done 20 million if I'd just let them keep buying, and not taking it offline. Well, so moving to Freeline was definitely not my idea at all, and I thought it was ridiculous. And I am eating crow as we speak. That concept was created by a friend of ours named Eben Pagan.
Yes.
So there were 2 models in the beginning, way back in the olden days, around 19 months ago.
To have this conversation in the beginning.
Listen upon me, my children. So, a couple of years ago, long ago in the internet world, there were basically 2 schools of thought.
Yes.
One was someone comes to your website and you sell as hard as you possibly can because they're going to be gone forever. And it was like, okay, if you're really good, you're going to sell 5 out of 100 people, and the other 95 people are just going to be gone. So you got to just go for it because you're never going to get into the scarcity, that whole kind of thing. So that's thought number one. Thought process number two is rarely are people going to buy at their first interaction,
that's right.
Unless they're just in the heat of the moment. But that's not most people. So why are you spending 100% of your effort on this tiny little group of people who are very improbable? Why not just build this relationship and give some good stuff away and drip feed, right, basically, and people will come around and they'll buy some stuff. Now, not to say you should be lazy in your marketing by any means, but there's no need to be pushy. Right. So that's what the whole free line concept is, and Eben really, really did a wonderful job teaching that and also leading by example. That you can just, and man, if anyone's watching this that's watched some of my older stuff, they're like, you told us in 1999 that you shouldn't do that. I was wrong. Okay, I admit it. So and it was the only time I've ever been wrong. Right? Sure. So mass control really is based around that free line philosophy. And what I like to do is just first of all, let me address the word mass control.
You just took the words out of my question out of my mouth.
That is just pure marketing, okay? So the real title of the method should be called how to efficiently sell on the internet and via other mediums through kindness and relationship marketing, but that's not sexy at all. Right. So I figured mass control sounded kind of scary and like something you're not supposed to have, therefore you want,
Yes, okay,
so
good.
in my semi-defense, that's it's not evil or freaky or anything. So it's all about, the whole strategy is about just giving away cool stuff and being really nice to people and gaining their trust through that. And then once you have it, see, it's not like you have to constantly reestablish the bond. You need to work on it.
Right.
But once that little switch is flipped, you've got them, and you have a raving fan. So it's really about creating raving fans really quickly and then turning that trust into sales repeatedly. So not just one time, but a constant following that is waiting for you to release more stuff.
Because the hardest part of any business and the most expensive part of business is getting a customer, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And then once you've got them, if you can meet their needs and keep meeting their needs, your marketing cost goes to the floor, and you're able to really do what you're made for, which is deliver your service at a deeper level. So
exactly right.
And your whole philosophy, though, of this move the free, or I should say Eben's initial one, move the free line.
Well, I'll take credit for it.
Okay, good. Yeah. But in mass control, what's different besides moving the free line? You really have strategically looked at the psychology of human beings, what gets them to move, right? What gets them to take action as opposed, because a lot of people have things that they want, or they desire, or they know they should do, but they don't follow through. So part of my life study has been the same thing, but you've really made it a science on how to take somebody in that online environment and build the energy in them to where they have to take some form of action, or at least they're much more likely to. Tell us a little bit about that.
The first thing you have to understand is the context in which they're using the internet. So, and this is where lots of people in business in general drop the ball, but especially online. So, the reason you would go to a search engine, for example, is usually going to be some sort of research, like I'm thinking about buying something, or I want to find out, about a movie or whatever, or price comparison. So that's one, I'll use the term modality, even though that's not the right term, but we'll just say that's one mode of thinking. So we'll have that over here.
State of mind, if you would.
Yeah. There you go, state of mind. I like that. Then you have blogs. So that's, you basically have three things online. You have blogs, the search engines, and then email, right? And blog/web pages. So someone's going to go to a blog, for example, for entertainment or news.
Or a web page, either way. It could be the one, right?
Or a web page. Sometimes I'll go to a web page to buy, but the blog is usually the entertainment type news thing. And then email, they usually go as a relationship medium. So rarely is it that someone's going to go and check their email thinking, I wonder if there's any specials at, pet meds or whatever. You know what I mean? They're thinking
it's an irritant, actually.
They're thinking what dirty pictures have been forwarded from Jim in accounting, or what's the dirty joke of the day, or what's grandma doing, or whatever. It's just
what I gotta get done, what I gotta go back to, sure.
And then buying someone else's stuff is very, very low on the totem pole. So traditional marketing online, the non-mass control methods, is just, in spite of all of that being in place, people create their marketing and they yell at them, basically. So that even though there's so much noise, the way most marketers work is they just make theirs bigger and louder and louder, and they figure someone's going to look. And by sheer volume of communication, we're going to get a few, and that's pretty good, because if we talk loud enough to enough people, some people are going to buy our stuff. Whereas mass control takes all those different contexts of usage into account and crafts messages specifically to match
for the kind of state of mind you're in at that stage. So it aligns with your nature at that moment, basically.
Aligns with your nature at that moment, exactly. So it's very, very under the radar. So that's like thing one. That's what gets you in the door.
Got it.
So for example, and you've seen this in the work that we've done together, an email communication is no longer looking like a magazine ad.
Right.
Email might say, hey, this is Frank, I just made this video for you. I think you might like it. Hope you do. Got to go. See you later. And the reason, and someone watching this like from big business would think that's so unprofessional. We could never send that out. Well, your stuff's not going to get read if you don't, because that's the way friends communicate with each other. If you're going to write me an email, for example, you're not going to begin it with, Frank, very important thing about blah, 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 and then start it with, dear Frank.
Yeah.
Friends don't talk to each other like that. They would just say, the subject line might say, hey, ... and then it just begins. So you want to, first of all, really embody the friend mentality. So it helps for me personally to really, whenever I write anything, feel like I'm writing to my best friend. And I view my clients as my best friends. I mean, these people allow me to live an unbelievable life. So I really love them, so I let it come through. But that's how you should write, and that's the way that you communicate. Blogs are the same way. Blogs and web pages, the old model is they're here, let's sell them. So the way the internet and the way internet marketing that I saw it developed was we just took what was working in direct mail, which is this sledgehammer sales approach, because you got one bill a second before they throw the thing in the garbage, and then they're gone. They really are gone forever. So they would just take that, stick it online, and it worked okay, right? But it doesn't match the mindset of the user. So when you kind of come into that conversation, like it's almost as if you speak Spanish and the guy comes and tries to talk to you in French. You might be able to communicate by hand gestures, but it's very ineffective.
Right.
If you both come in speaking Spanish, you're set.
Right.
In the same way with search engine marketing. So we just
and when you go to search engine marketing, you're still coming in more like you're there to answer the question. Is that the different mentality? Because they're in the mentality of wanting the answer.
It's a two-pronged thing, really. You're breaking the state sometimes. So like if everything else is looking one way, so like if we're searching for Tony Robbins, for example, and every other ad says Tony Robbins personal change or something, I might write an ad that says Tony Robbins can fly, and then my body text would say something like, not really, but this is almost as cool as that, click here. And that would get them.
That's a great hook.
But it was like it stands out.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So everything in its own place.
Which is how you really communicate with your friends anyway, right?
Exactly.
You're always breaking the pattern using your humor.
But that is how all business communication, they're like, why do we have to put on the business hat? That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're going to go in this room we call the office now, so any normal conversation we have needs to be wrapped up because we're about to go into business mode, and we have, that's completely illogical. Yeah. But that's the way so much business is conducted, specifically with existing, companies now, like non-internet companies.
Right. So tell me, the principles, you're starting out the process in terms of mass control by saying it's a different world. I need to talk to people in the state they're in when they're going to communicate, and you think about where they really, it's really putting yourself in their shoes. Secondly, I need to really know and feel, not just know intellectually, but feel that these people are my friends. I have privileges in my life because I'm able to serve them, and they give me the privilege of purchasing my product or service. That produces a different emotion in you, right from that quality, right from that place. Get rid of the old business hat as you thought it was and get into the relationship connection business. Now, how do I take that and start to, and this is why I think one of your greatest tools, or at least what I've seen, is your ability then to move people down that line. Like you talked about, moving them from that one stage where the archetype was guys trying to approach somebody to, wow, he's got his family. How do you move them into action along the way? Because you're really good at amplifying those actions. Can we talk about some of those strategies in mass control that might be appropriate?
Yeah, it all comes down to empathy. So you have to know who they really are and what they really want to be. So within the mass control thing that I teach, we have this thing called the instant empathy exercise. And it's in depth, so we won't go through the whole thing here. But essentially, you come up with a name for one single person who most embodies your prospect. And you identify what his biggest or her biggest fears are. You talk about what they do for a living. How many children they have, what they wear, what they would rather be doing, the life that they really want outside of what they're doing now. And you get all of that stuff, and then you write to them. But every time you're writing them, you have that end result in mind.
So you're establishing where they are versus where they want to be, what the gap is, what that feels like, not just what it is intellectually.
Right.
And then you are always thinking about how do I move them to the next stage of
how I get them to
realizing
see
what they
that
want.
picture.
See the picture.
They see, okay, I really can get to this place.
Right.
And in my business, it's all information marketing, so I'm going to say like how-to a lot because I sell how-to.
Right.
You could do this just easily selling lawnmowers or something. Stuff is stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, you get them to see that you show them the light at the end of the tunnel, and then you just gradually move them towards it.
I was asking you, you were talking about the distinction of how you build that desire to buy. Once again, this is where this person is, here's where they want to be, you're telling the story, you're sharing the story, but you've developed these tools to amplify the need to move forward, to take action. Right. So picking up a little bit on that.
Okay, so it's founded, first of all, on the fact that they want it.
Right.
Right? So I have this belief that if you want to create money, you create desire. So
say it again. If you want to create money, you create desire.
Exactly right.
Desire meaning in your clients and your customers. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So if you can make someone want something really badly, then they will buy your stuff. And
you really can't make somebody want something they don't want at some level.
No, and I don't like the use of the word make, but that's what came out. It's clearly on the tape. If you can inspire someone to want something really badly, they will buy it.
Of course.
And that sounds really basic, but so many people just think, well, here's a traditional business owner, and I've made this mistake anyway, is I'm in business, I built it, therefore they will come. Right. So I'll put out these ads that have my picture on there and a logo with a slogan. And it's like, and I think the slogan will be something really catchy and believable, like best selection and lowest prices. And people are just, that's complete crap.
Yeah.
So what I do in the process is, first of all, is I get them to believe me, and I do that just by being authentic, right. And that means if there's a flaw somewhere, I bring it right to the light and say, hey, you know what, I really like this. Now, it's not going to be for everyone because of this flaw, but if you can live with the flaw, then it's going to be for you. I mean, they're going to find out anyway. There's no point. By doing simple things like that, though, your level of trust is significantly enhanced.
That's true.
Right. And then I do the results in advance thing, so the trust is there, right? And I create desire.
And just to remind people, meaning you're giving people real value. You're able to try it, test it, it works, and so they want more.
And it's a logical progression. So the logical progression is very important.
Right.
So if back to the dating example, if we would have given advice on like, here's what you talk about on your first date, we would have lost 90% of the market because they're trying to get to the first date. Well, that's great, but how do I get to the
approach
first?
Somebody?
Yeah.
Right.
So the progression is crucial in that thing. So I build desire by showing the end result. I know, and in my own business, embodying the end result. So this goes back to how it's very important that you have the empathy for your customers and you know what they want, who they really are, and where they want to be. I'll tell you a story. I was given a speech in Orlando last year, and in my mass control course, we go through this instant empathy exercise, and I showed them some of this stuff, and I showed them the results that happened when I did it. I said, my prospect, my molded cookie cutter prospect, is a white, middle-aged, 45-year-old male who sells insurance, who's married with 2 children, his kids drive him crazy. He makes $65,000 a year, and he would really rather be doing something else so he could spend more time with his kids and actually enjoy being a father instead of feeling running ragged. And I said he wears, what did I say? Khaki pants and brown loafer shoes and a short-sleeved button-down shirt. So, and this is, you got to do this. It sounds like you're like, what in the world are we talking about? But this is what, if you want to really sell to someone, you understand them. And you know their needs and their fears and their hopes and their dreams, and you use that whenever ethical, and you can do so accurately and with integrity, you use that to make the sale. So I'm in Orlando, and I'm recapping this thing. I say, so telling about the instant empathy thing, I talk about Bob, the guy. I get off the stage. Guy comes up to me. He goes, "How's it going? I'm Bob. You hit me right on the head. I'm 45 years old. I'm married. He sells insurance. He makes $65,000. He goes, the only thing you got wrong is my kids don't drive me crazy." I said, "Good. That's great."
Cool.
So it really works if you do it. If you say, "Okay, I'm just going to play full out," to use your language, and do it, then it works. So if you can understand where they want to be and embody that and show them that light at the end of the tunnel and give them good content, then that desire is escalated.
Right.
And when I say embody it, I'll use my own business for an example because that's the one that I know best. I sell to Bob, right? And if you think about what your average dude wants, he wants to retire, move to the beach, screw around all day, and surf, and on many levels, go back and relive those college years when he was a long-haired, carefree guy before he became the square, quote-unquote normal person he is now. So I'm very fortunate that I happen to love living at the beach and surfing, and and this isn't a prop or anything, but it all works, right? So if you can embody that outcome that they want, that's just more on the trustometer and more on the
well,
desire.
You're living much of that life. The difference
Exactly
is your income is going to be in the multi-millions, but the point matter is you have that lifestyle. You do get to be with your kids. You get to do go surf or golf or whatever the case may be that somebody really loves to do. So you know your customer intimately as a part of yourself, but you also have emphasized that part of yourself because there's another part of you that's an extraordinary businessman. I mean, I don't know many business people that got an 80% margin, and most business people talk about I'm doing 50 million, 100 million, whatever the case may be, but what are they netting? I mean, that's where business really matters. And these days, you see these businesses. Well, right now, you got businesses out here that they were doing billions and billions of dollars that are gone. So it's not volume. It's like, what is the lifestyle you end up with in the end? What is the income for the business? And what do you want? Do you want freedom? Do you want to engender values? And you're able to do both. You're able to help people. You're able to engender the values that matter to you, and you're able to earn a fortune by most people's ideas, but with a lot of free time. But compared to most people, what they'd expect.
Right.
So
that's creating desire. Now you had asked about the inspiring them to action.
Yes.
I wish I could come up with a way to make this sound difficult, so then it would be like perceived as more, profound,
more valuable.
Yeah. You just ask for it, or you just tell them. So you say, listen, I don't have a billion of these things. If you want this, and your gut is telling you it's right for you, you need to go ahead and get it right now, because let's face it, we're on the internet. As you probably know, I have, and I'll insert the real now, I have 79,487 subscribers as of yesterday. I get about 200 more a day. They're all seeing this. These products are not going to be around forever. So if you want this, go ahead and get it.
Right.
Now if you're selling something like tires or whatever, I would create that scarcity by adding more bonuses. So let's say, now we're offering a free oil change. Obviously, I've only got Eddie and Carl out here in the back. So, as contrary to their appearance, they cannot work 24 hours a day. Therefore, we can only take the first 100 people. I'm sorry, Carl, the first 80 people. Carl said he would quit if we did. But that's real. You know what I mean? That's a real thing, and there's none of this BS crap stuff. Right. So I apply pressure through scarcity is one thing, which is very effective. Scarcity can be created by lack of material, can be created by a lack of bonuses. You can just have a date, say, listen, I'm going to have this offering up here. You can buy it afterwards, but this pricing is only going to be available for 72 hours. And frankly, I'm in business to service my clients, not to sell people. So after we're done. I'm going to go back to servicing the clients. So if you want this, get it now. If not, we'll see you next time. But just any reason really, just tell them to do something. Right. I want you to buy now because whatever. Because I have a white dog, and when I was a kid, I always wanted a white dog. So we're celebrating. We're having a white dog sale. I swear to God, it could be anything. Just try it, okay? Just say, okay, Frank, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to try it. So that's one thing. Another thing,
and you're willing to do all these things, to be fair, Frank, too, because your product is extraordinary. If you get it, that you have almost an ethical commitment and integrity to find any way you can get it to them, as long as it's honest and sincere, because you know what's going to happen when they get it. Yeah,
I have gone so far as to jokingly, and I again view all of my prospects and customers as friends. So I'll send out a marketing message and say, I was endorsing someone else's product. I said, you really should buy this, not only because it's good, because really I'm going to make a lot of money if you do. And I think I'd like to buy myself some of those big gold chains like the rappers had in the 80s. And I just had no desire to buy those, but I got to tell them why. And I figured, they know I'm going to make a commission, so I might as well make a joke out of it.
That's
so
great.
anything that you say, as long as it's, you have their best interest at heart and you're not lying or making stuff up,
Right.
A reason to tell them to buy now is sufficient, and a lot of people don't do that.
Right.
So the flower shop down the road that says we're having a special.
Right.
Okay, and who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that. Another strategy that I have that's my favorite thing ever is called stacking the cool.
Stacking the cool.
Stacking the cool.
Only you, Frank, could come up with stacking the cool.
Well, it took a long time.
Sitting on the beach thinking about this.
I was like, what do we call it? Stacking the warm? No, the cool. The cool will work great. So I like to think I'm a towards person, so I studied you, and you've got the pleasure and pain thing. And one mode of selling is, you twist the knife and stuff, and eventually the pain is so great, they'll buy you. And that just freaks me out.
Me too.
And I was like, I don't want to deal with that. So I figure I can't sell to everybody today. And, you probably experienced this or know someone who has, like you want to go get like a new Honda, all right, or whatever. You go to the Honda store and you're like, and you look at it and you're like, I just don't feel like buying it. You still want the Honda, you just didn't buy it for whatever reason. You just had to go, or just, you were getting weirded out being there, whatever it is, and you say you go home. Most prospects are going to be like that. It's just rare that we get that sale the first time for whatever reason, and who cares? So obviously this is going to be a silly example, but this is what stacking the cool is. Now imagine you're in that situation and the Honda guy calls you back the next day and he says, Tony, thanks a lot for coming in yesterday. I just wanted to let you know that today only, for some weird reason, we got this new sales manager and he wants to make a good first impression with the owner. So everyone who buys a Honda today is going to get a Porsche 911 Twin Turbo. Go figure, but that offer ends at 6, so I figured I'd tell you, I hope to see you. If not, cool, I'll see you next time. The cool has been sufficiently stacked for step one.
Yes.
The way you continually stack it is you just keep adding cool stuff. By the time the prospect makes his buying decision, he's like, I don't even care about the Honda anymore. I just want to get the Porsche and the Lamborghini and the plane that they're throwing in, as well as the mansion. So I know that's an exaggerated example, but that's how I do it. So I just take advantage and say, well, the more I give, I'll get it back eventually. I'll just keep stacking stuff on it.
And you've got a time frame for them to take advantage, obviously.
Absolutely.
Critical to that.
Yeah, and it can literally, your time frame can literally be like, listen, I don't feel like having this open forever, so I'm just going to do it for 72 hours because I don't want to have to get like 8 million phone calls about it.
Right. So can I give you some business examples then? Ones? Let's look at some industries that are really in a tough place, and let's think about some creativity for them. And if it's unfair because they haven't given enough time to think about it, we'll pick another one. But let's look at car dealers. I was reading the other day, I've seen these car dealers getting bailed out by the city that they're in because the car dealer is so much of the tax base for some of these small towns. There's one out in San Bernardino County that I was seeing this is happening here in California. So car dealers are in huge bad shape. You look at people in the real estate business that are in such difficult shape. You look at any core business that right now is saying, man, I'm starving for customers. I got customers, but they're not active. And I know this is one of your expertise. They're not alive right now. They're hanging on to their money. It's not that they don't love our product. They're good customers for us. It's just right now they're scared. The world's changed. We're in a different season right now. So you can do well in any season. You've proven that, and so many people have. What would you say to that business owner right now that's saying, damn, I got to figure out what the hell to do. The phone's not ringing. People aren't responding. The old marketing we're doing isn't working. What would you say to them right now? Here are the first 3 to 5 things I would do to get things turned around right away.
Okay, first of all, I'd tell you that you're lucky that the traditional marketing is failing you because it's going to fail you eventually, and you might as well just go ahead and get it over with, and now you can start doing it the right way.
And say why?
So, well, because the riches generated from the right way and the bond that you have with your customers is so great that once you experience it, you're like, this is unbelievable. And then you get in a situation where you don't even have to really actively sell. You can say, hey, we got some stuff. And they're like, oh, come on in, it's great. I mean, I think the real way to make a lot of money is you find out what people want and then you give it to them. I mean, that's pretty simple, but it's like, well, okay.
It's the parrot example.
So, you want a hamburger? Okay, hang on a minute. Here, it'll be $5. So here's what they could do. We'll start with the car dealer because I had family in the car business and I was a car salesman for a while and was horrible at it because they made me do all the lame car salesman stuff. In the car world, and like so many other businesses, it's all the same marketing. Okay, I actually took the best selection, lowest prices from so many car ads. So every car dealer on Sunday has the full page, full color, $10,000 ad that looks exactly like everybody else's that says best selection, lowest prices, which the consumer has been seeing now since before I was born. So they're like, oh, okay, well this one, you know what, honey, Martha, today I think they really do have the best selection, and today's the day. And I can tell because they've used Times New Roman size 3 font, and according to my Nostradamus handbook of car sales, today's gonna, hell no, it's not happening. So I think they should face the problem head on. So if I was a car dealer, first thing I would do is I'd send a direct response letter, 32, no, what's postage now, 48?
I don't even
something
know.
cents, whatever, less than $1. Actually, a letter, an 8-page letter is going to cost you about $1 to mail with all the stuff, So if you got 11,000 customers or 12,000 or 1,000 or 100 customers, first thing I would do to get money tomorrow is I'd send them an offer in the mail. And I wouldn't make it look like a slick brochure. It would be saying something like, Dear Bob, crazy about Bob's today. Dear Bob, I guess you've seen... I
like your tan pants.
Yeah, I like your tan pants. You know what? I guess you've seen all the tales of doom and gloom on the news. Well, we want you to know that we've got your stimulus package over here at, Crazy Eddie's Used Cars. So here's what we have for you today. I want to give you a car today. That's right. I actually want to give you a car today. I'm so confident that you're going to love the car that you have. I know you want a new car. You know you want a new car. Everyone wants a new car the day after they just got a new car. We got plenty of new cars down here. Come on down. Pick out a car that you want. We'll sign all the paperwork, but I want you to take it home. I'm going to give you a $100 gift certificate to your favorite restaurant. So you take your wife out. I'm going to fill that car up with gas for you. You take it home, drive it for a week. If you like it, then I'll take this paperwork, submit it to the bank, and the car's yours. If you don't, bring it back. No questions, no hassles, no harm. All right? Probably going to get like 10 dudes come in, 5 of them bring the car back, the other 5 keep it. Okay? If you don't do it, you're going to get nothing. All right?
That's totally true.
It's totally, but it's just like, it's easy. It's like, here's the car. There's none of this pressure junk. If you want it, we'll fill out the paperwork. We'll hold on to it.
Right.
Drive it home. Here's $100. Take your wife out to dinner. Of course, now on a psychological, you already know this. From the psychological level, we're working all kinds of magic here.
Of course.
But just people being people. Yeah. Now, see, what's going to happen? Like, some business owners are going to see it. They're like, man, that's awesome. I'm going to try it. Others will see it and go, well, I know people are going to bring the car back, and then I've had to give them $100 and a free tank of gas. That's the wrong way to look at it. First of all, the whole scarcity thing is bogus.
And let's bring that up, because this is one of the things I wanted to bring up with you, because I think you embody this, Frank. You really do. So many people fear drives so many people. We live in a world where the messages are now, they're on your BlackBerry or your iPhone. They're everywhere. It's all gloom and doom, right?
Yeah.
And there's realities that change in the economy, there's no question, but there's always an opportunity. So how do you get people beyond that scarcity? Because so many people, you said, they're going, I'm not going to do that. They're going to take advantage of me, or they're going to come from a place of I can't afford to do that. How do you get people beyond the scarcity thinking? Because you're good at it.
Well, you just have to be okay with the fact that some people are going to do that. First of all, it's like, yeah, so what? But let's say you get 10 people to come with the car dealer example, right? You get 10, you send out let's say they send out 1,000 letters to their customers, okay? And then we'll come back to the scarcity philosophy, but I want to address the business person who's just like watching this going, I just want to make enough money to pay the bills next month. Like, hurry up, right? So you spend $1,000 sending out the letters to your customers who already know, like, and trust you and have demonstrated they want your stuff. In this car example, costs you $1,000 max, right? And that's like if you use really fancy paper, all right? So now you're in it for $1,000. Let's say 10 people come in and take you up on it, all right? So you have 10 cars on the street. Let's say your average markup per car is $2,500. Actually, I think that is the average markup for a car, or it was. Who knows now, So now you have $25,000 in potential profit on the street. It's costing you $100 in these gifts, gift certificates.
Right.
So you spent another $1,000. So now you're in it for $2,000, and let's say it might have cost you $500 at max to fill up all 10 of those cars if you use like super gas or something. So you're in this whole thing for $2,500. All right. If everybody but one person brings the car back, you're at least going to break even, right? But you're probably, in offers like this, you usually can figure on about 60% of the people keeping it, and unless you're you, and we've tested some of these offers with you, and like everybody keeps the stuff, which is great, but for most people, it's about 60% no matter what. So you're going to profit either way. You just have to be willing to reverse the risk. See, we get caught up in scarcity too, but our prospects also get caught up in scarcity. So if we can alleviate that pain for them, they will in turn alleviate that pain for us. And talk about a breath of fresh air. For the customer. In this particular, you're kidding me? You're going to give me a car and $100 and like be cool to me? This has never happened ever. I'm going to go tell every single person I know.
And now you got viral marketing.
Now and then the next step to that, and I promise we're going to get to the scarcity thing in a minute. I just don't want to lose my frame of thought here. The next step to that is now you can start putting instead of having the ad, the full color like idiotic ad that everyone else has, you can have an ad that says local car dealer loses mind, gives away car, and pays people to drive them.
That's great.
And then staff reporter, Bloomfield Street today, Bob Jones has gone completely crazy and has decided to give away cars. Yes, you heard me correctly. He's giving away cars and paying people to drive them as part of his new Life is Great sale. Whatever. And then now you got something people are paying attention to, and you got a reason to act, So there's that. Now, the scarcity thing. I just believe there's more than enough for anyone. And I learned this at your thing, Unleash the Power Within, which was such a great thing from just a personal development thing, as from like me watching someone really communicate well. It was unbelievable, masterful. But you had this metaphor, and I hope I'm getting it right, because I can't misquote you because you're right here. I usually would, but he's right there. You said something like, you made the comparison of money and water. And you said that if you have to go to the ocean and get 400,000 gallons of water, you're not going to be freaked out that you're going to drain the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, their only task is going to be like, well, I just got to keep going back and back to the ocean. Eventually, it's going to get a bigger bucket.
Right.
You know, and that really hit home to me because it was like, you know, there really is no scarcity of money at all. So we see this stuff on the news, and people are saying, you know, well, the money's gone, the money's gone. The money hasn't gone anywhere. Yeah. It's not like the evil money fairy has come and taken the money away. You know, well, it's December 24th, we're going to come get the money, and we're going to abscond with it and bury it in a cave in Mexico, and they'll never, you know, no, that's ridiculous. This money's just flowing around. Yeah. Like, literally just going all around, you know, so if your scarcity, if your fist is closed, it cannot receive. That sounds good. I didn't come up with that. I wish I had. You know, I don't know who did, but really, that was a good one. But you know what I mean? If you're freaked out, you're not going to get anywhere. It's just
if you come with a thimble, what are you going to leave with? No matter how big the ocean is, right?
Exactly right. So there's and it's been demonstrated time and time again. There's absolutely no shortage of money. And you know, a business owner can say, "Well, my customers are not buying right now." That's absolutely not right. Some of them might not be buying.
Or someone was saying the other day, people are still buying coffee. They're just not buying as many of them aren't buying $4 coffee.
Yeah. Well, here's
where he goes.
Have you ever gone to? You're driving down the road and you see a trailer park or whatever, and you see this completely dilapidated trailer that looks like at any minute, if you look at it too hard, it's going to fall down. So you're like, look at it, the reflection of it in the mirror as not to somehow make it fall down. And you notice like the brand new satellite on top of it, you know. So it's like this, the thing's about to implode on itself.
Well, it comes back to what you said at the beginning. Do they really, really want it? You know?
Yes.
Do they have the money is less of a piece? Do they believe you? Come back to those three you started out with.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe yourself, if you don't believe in your own value of your own product, your own service, you don't believe it's really going to add value to somebody's life in a significant way, you're not going to have the conviction to use any of these tools. You're not going to have the conviction to follow through on anything.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And you know, I think that, like what we're witnessing right now, and these times of economic uncertainty, which I refuse to participate in, by the way. It's just not going to. It's like, oh, well, y'all have fun with that. I'm not going to mess with that. Enjoy it and tell me when it's over. I'll be right over here. Right. But it's a transfer of money. We're witnessing a very rapid transfer of money from people who have done lots and continue to do dumb stuff to people who have done and continue to do smart stuff. Right. So to bring it back to business, the dumb stuff is running the ads that say best selection, lowest prices. That's dumb. Keep doing that. You're going to be on this side of the transfer. Right. You know,
it's only a matter of time. If you aren't hurting now, you're going to be hurting eventually.
Exactly.
So let's take another example, and I know the theme is there, but just so people think outside the box, give me a business that you think of as antithesis of the car business, and how would you attack it?
Lawnmowers. Okay. I mean, well, it's like I come from Macon, Georgia. I mean, so you know that was like I would call on the lawnmower shop or something. So the typical ad, the typical marketing is business is so incestuous. You know, like we go. If you think about it, it's all this box thinking. Like, well, I didn't, but so many people go to college or whatever, and they read the book, and the book is the standardized thing, and they have the professor in the suit, and they say, well, here's what you do, and then, well, everyone else in business is running these type of ads, and so lawnmower guy's going to run an ad, and he's selling his lawnmowers, he's going to run an ad that's going to say, you know, Eddie's Lawnmower Shop, established 1953, phone number. That's it. Like, wow. So who's buying lawnmowers? Typically, it's going to be a guy. For lots of men, mowing the lawn is a pain in the ass. For lots of other men, mowing the lawn is a fun way to have a little bit of solitude. And, well, I mean, you know, there's no sense in a fun way to have a little bit of solitude. And, like, you know, he shows off his yard like that show King of the Hill. Yeah, you know what I mean? The Hank Hill thing, that's based on real people. Yeah. You know, and those people are cool, right? So I'm the guy, I'm Eddie of Eddie's Lawnmower Shop. My commercial no longer is going to be, hello, come on down to Eddie's Lawnmowers. We have lawnmowers, and we have always had lawnmowers, and we'll continue to have them, so you should buy them from us. You know, I don't even think the commercials are that good. Instead, you know, I would educate the customers and be like, hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Eddie's Lawnmower down here, and I'm just like stereotyping lawnmower, right? They all talk like this, okay? Yes, they teach you that at lawnmower school. So they're going to be like, you know, I'm Eddie from Eddie's Lawnmower down here, and what we have right here today, you see behind me, is a cross diamond hatch pattern that you might have seen Sunday night at the Atlanta Braves game. When you were watching that internal field, you notice how they had it looks like little diamonds on there. I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, what we got here is the escalator blade on the lawnmower, and Jimmy, crank that sucker up there, Jimmy. Jimmy's going to run across here, and he's going to do it. You do 10 diamond crosses like this, then you come back here and you do 10 more. Now, what you're thinking, my lawnmower would never do that, and you're probably right. And that's why I want to talk to you today right now. We've got a brand new selection of snapper lawnmowers. I want you to have one. Your yard's going to be a lot cooler than everybody else's yard, and they're going to talk about how cool your yard is. Now, I know times are hard for a lot of people. They might be hard for you. They're certainly hard for a lot of other business people out here. Well, here's what we're going to do. I want you to take this lawnmower home. Do what I've just told you to do. If people don't come over here to your house and tell you that you've got the coolest looking yard and ask you how you did it, I want you to bring that lawnmower back. I will give you a case of Budweiser right now. All right, so just come on down and see me. Now, I'm scared they're going to run out of beer. So I'm going to have to end this offer Monday afternoon at 7:30. The end. But now you've got the whole thing.
You're really scaring me. The depth of you understand about lawnmowers. I got to tell you that, bud.
I've cut my
your southern roots are coming out, baby.
But you know what I mean? So it's really a message to market match there. But it's a reason you engage them. So a big part, to tie it all back into mass control, and what I've learned from you, a big part of all that's a major pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
Right? So I will attempt to define what the pattern interrupt is, in regards to what we're going on here.
You do it, but you also do it, and you use humor. There are many ways to break a pattern, but you use humor so often, but a warm humor, not a humor that's biting usually, which is really
there's
wonderful.
No fun in that.
Yeah, please continue.
So the guy's watching TV, okay? The Eddie's Lawnmower Prospect is watching probably the baseball game that was mentioned in the aforementioned commercial, this fake commercial, right? And he's like, oh, it comes a damn commercial in there. And then immediately there's pattern interrupt because it's not a preachy commercial. It's like guy speaking his language, referencing his experience right now, saying, hey, that is cool. I'm going to show you how to do it. And then instead of best selection, lowest prices, it's like, look, here's how you do this. And by the way, you could do it with this thing that I've got, and you should come buy it because of X, Y, Z. So it's really a formulaic pattern. Right. It's just you interrupt pattern with some humor or something. If you're not funny, then just like say, hello, my name is Neil. I am the most boring accountant in the world. And before you slip into a coma, I want you to understand that if you don't get my accounting services, Uncle Sam is going to show up your house with a gas mask. Okay, well maybe not, but he could. So you should, whatever. Right. You know what I mean? And you just go for it.
Just become
like
a kid and go on a rant almost.
Just really, that's all you got to do. I swear to you, that's all I do. That's like the whole, don't tell anyone, but that's the whole secret. I just sit there and go on these rants. But it's what we all want. Yeah. So if I'm in the lawnmowers, I'm like, man, that was awesome. And then then you become like, man, you see Eddie lawnmower commercial again? That was awesome. Right. And they're like, oh, I want to go. I want to say, I'll wait till Eddie gets back for lunch, and then I'll buy it from Eddie. Right. So now, like, Eddie, will you tell me how did you do that? It becomes a whole thing, and you become a celebrity in your marketplace, which is what my style marketing is really all about. Right.
Tell me, what somebody's brand new, they don't have a business yet, they don't have a product yet. We kind of touched on it by showing how you did it with the parents, but give us the action plan for that person. They're sitting here right now watching and go, okay, this is wonderful. I'm entertained as hell by Frank. This man's funny as hell. He's making a hell of a lot of sense to me. I really want to have my own business, or I really want to have a new source of income. I really want to have some freedom or some choices. Maybe I don't want to give up what I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing really well at what I'm doing, but maybe I'd like to have something on the side of that. So a new product, a new service. They don't yet own a business. Give me the first 3 to 5 steps. What do they do?
Well, I would strongly advise going into the information marketing business, which translates into Kernese as selling how-to stuff on the internet.
Why?
Why would I do that?
Why information versus other items?
Well, we're in the information age, apparently. That's what someone said, and it had sounded really good. But so many people are online right now. Why do you get online? You don't get online to manifest a doorknob or something. You want to read something. You're getting information. All we do. Everyone's got the BlackBerry, the BlueBerry, the new whatever berries coming out now, iPhone, and this the email stuff. So it's all information. That's what's going on right now. When people get online and they're looking for stuff, they're either looking to buy a hard commodity or they want to find out how to do something. And you watching this, how many times have you gone online to figure out how to do anything? Where should I go on vacation? So you're looking for instructions or advice. Right. Okay? So what we have with the internet right now is the ability to immediately determine how many people are looking for something. Okay, so you can have any idea. You can say underwater basket weaving, and you could go to google.com/ads. I hope that's the right URL. It's called Google AdWords program. If you Google AdWords, they'll tell you. They have a tool in there. You sign up for a little account. It's free, and they've got a little tool. You can type in a word. It'll tell you how much search volume can be expected to be gotten from that word, which means here's how many people, based on us, the biggest search engine ever, are looking for that thing. Now but we've never had that. Right. We've never had it. So you can go, and let's say you have a passion, and let's say your passion is ballet instruction, all right? Or let's say it's even more obscure than that. It's how to run an efficient ballet instructional business because you took ballet and your teacher was dumb, but you know the right way to do it. It doesn't matter. All right, so you can go to this little tool and you can type in ballet instruction. You might see that 40,000, 50,000 people are searching for that every month. Luckily, the way the internet works and the way search engine advertising works is you can buy an ad, so your ad will only be shown when somebody types in ballet studio administration or whatever you want to advertise under. And then you only pay when someone both sees your ad and then clicks on it to go to your website.
Right.
So this is the equivalent of going to your local, for a regular business, quote unquote. I guess now we're the regular business. It's an old school business, going to the television station and say, listen, I'll be happy to buy a lot of commercials from y'all, but I only want to pay you every time someone comes into my store. Right. It's unheard of, but we can do it now. So you only pay when someone comes to your website. So what happens is you've got this, first of all, that you can literally create that whole scenario, set up an account and buy ads for starting with $20, and you can have people coming to your website tomorrow.
Right.
So, it used to be, well, I got to get a business license and rent a place and outlay all this. If you have $20 now, you can at least be moving.
It's amazing.
You know what I mean? And the reason I suggest information is because it's so easy and inexpensive to create.
Right.
So I'll give you a little nugget. Here's the formula, okay? You find a group of people that are looking for something. You find out what they want in terms of information, and then you give it to them. So let's say the parrot example. And parrots, I've been teaching this for years, so everyone's doing parrots. Don't go do parrots because there's too much competition. You know what I mean? It's my parrot business doesn't exist anymore because I taught everyone else how to do parrot. Right. But you go to parrot thing and you determine that all these people were searching for parrot information. And then it'll show you related terms they're looking for, and you can find out a large majority of them are train parrot to talk.
Right.
So then you might not know how to train a parrot. I certainly don't. The birds actually make me a little nervous. They really do freak me out. I want you get that parrot away from me, man. That thing's, have you seen the beaks on them? They're huge. So you can go to a website called guru.com. And you can post a job on Guru. And this is reverse eBay. So you go to eBay and you sell something and people, you go to Guru and you say, I want to hire an expert to interview on the topic of parrot training. And then all the parrot experts will say, you should hire me because this, and this. Here's a sample of my work, blah, blah, blah. It costs usually, when you negotiate the fee with them, the last time I did it, I actually showed my cousin how to do this. He went on to make $3.8 million in his first 24 months, by the way.
Wow.
But the first thing he did was went to Guru. He got an expert to interview for $200. So okay, I'm going to interview you on the telephone. The way you come up with the questions to interview the people with is you look at everyone else who's selling information products in that marketplace, and you see all the big promises they make, and you turn that big promise into a question. Correct. So if your competitor's big promise is how to make your parrot talk and sing Mary Had a Little Lamb in 3 steps or less, you say, hey, how do you make your parrot talk and sing Mary Had a Little Lamb in 3 steps or less? So you got 10 competitors.
Reverse engineer.
And it takes an hour. Right. So then you get on the phone with the person and you say, hey, what do you blah, 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 and they say, well, here's what you do. And you record that conversation. You can use a service called freeteleconference.com. I think it's free conference. Just type in free teleconference online. They'll record it for you and everything, You have it transcribed. Now you have a book and you have a downloadable audio file. So you've got yourself a multimedia audio product, or multimedia information product, which you're not guessing. See, I don't want to guess. I don't want to tell anyone to go gamble. You know what I mean? Because it's scary. I understand. If I had to do business like the old way, where I hope this works, I'm going to go get a job or something. Yeah, that's horrible. I wouldn't want to do that either. But if say, okay, 70,000 people a month are looking for this. I can buy them coming to my website for a quarter or 30 cents per person. If I'm selling a $100 course, I don't need that many people to come before I make a sale. I can work it all out. Right. And if I know they're buying this, and this is what these other people are promising, I can create a product that delivers that promise, and I'm good.
That's awesome.
It's really, really easy. I almost wish we could make it longer so it would sound harder, so people would believe me. They'd be like, oh, well, of course. Well, yes. Well, I forgot about the reverse, reverse elbow scratcher technique you have to use. Or what, but it really is totally that simple. You just go and check it out and do it.
That's awesome. Frank, tell me, at this stage of your life, what is it that lights you up most, and what is your passion now? And if you're looking at your life and saying, what else is I want to do with my life? You've lived such a diverse life, such an amazing life. What is it for you now?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Well, I'm kind of having a really good time now.
So I noticed.
Yeah. So I'd like to surf more. I'm the 9th worst surfer in the state of California. I'd like to move up to like the 15th worst, maybe 20th.
Would be good.
Worst. Yeah, that would be good. Professionally, I really like meeting someone who is in the position where they had the job that they hated, and they tried this stuff out, and oh my God, it worked.
Yeah.
You know, because what I think I do at the end of the day is I give people freedom. You know, it's not about money. I mean, we're really, like you watching this right now, you know that you want to make money for some reason.
Right.
And for lots of people, it's I want to make money to get away from the stress that's trapping me, or I want to make money so I don't have to live a life of misery, you know, going to a job that I hate. I mean, can you imagine? So many people live like this. You know, I have a tremendous amount of compassion for them, but so many people, and there's a statistic like 80% of the people or something don't like their jobs. You know, and
they wear black suits and walk out
totally lame. You know? But you spend like, I don't know, whatever, 70% of your conscious time at a job that you don't like.
Yeah.
And then your life is gone. That's 70, like the other time you're asleep, so we're not going to count that, you know. So 75% or whatever, your conscious waking moment, doing something you don't like, I can't imagine that. So to know that I help people get away from that is really big. You know,
That's very
really
cool.
big.
Very cool. Well, you've been amazing to be with. I have something that I wanted to share with you because you know, Frank, you're one of the rare ones. You're totally sincere. You've got a heart of gold. You're funny as hell. But you take the complex and you make it simple, and because of that, mass number of people can be helped. Mass, no pun intended.
See there, I've got it.
But I really want to thank you for the things you've done to help all of us to be a little bit more illuminated as what's possible. And I'm hoping people back there at home that are watching this will A, see what the opportunity is that can really be done. B, if they're in business, they see that there's a new way to do business. And as you said, you know, in every problem, there is always the gift if you find it. It sounds corny as hell, but it's always true if you look for it. And right now, the benefit of the old world being destroyed is a new world has been created. And if you can get on the front end of it as a business person, you got a different life. But ultimately, it all comes down to, you know, what do you want for your life? You know, what's your lifestyle? What lights you up? What makes your life juicy? And I know for you, it's your family. And I know it's for you, it's surfing. And I also, would you give me what it is I brought here? I also thought there's something else that's here for you.
Oh, man.
Dobro.
Wow.
A little about you.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll read you guys this so you can. To Frank, a brother in spirit, music and friendship are eternal. Love and respect, Tony Robbins. Thank you so much,
You're
Tony.
welcome,
this
brother.
is great.
Yeah.
What a magic moment, huh? All right.
You're the best. And so if you're watching at home and you're wondering, will this really make a difference in my business? I've been around for a while. My hope is that out of this session, people have really seen that innovation and technology are really the basis of business. I say in every session, remind people that if you want to know what business is, go back to Peter Drucker. I mean, 101, he says business is two things, marketing and innovation. And we're living in a world where the technology provides an opportunity to do both of those at a cost-effective level that's mind-boggling. The real challenge is, can you really reinvent in your own mind the way you do business and bring it back to what it's supposed to do, what it did originally when we lived in small towns and everybody knew everybody else and your reputation was everything, your relationship was everything. Even though people now, you know, your clients are from all over the world, you can have the same level of relationship if you're the same kind of giver. I mean, you went in that small town and what they do? They gave you stuff. They loved you. They knew everything about you. They knew your needs, your wants, your desires. And today you can do that on a massive scale. That's the beauty. That's why someone can do 18 million bucks in 24 hours, or an internet marketer who, you know, maybe even 10 years ago be lucky to make $100,000 can have an 8-figure or 7-figure income. So this is an opportunity for you as a business owner, or if you're brand new, or if you don't feel like you're free, get free. And Frank Kern is one of the very best in that area. I want to thank you again for this time. I really, really enjoyed it, brother.
It was a blast.
I really enjoyed it.
All right.
God bless.